Welcome back. Joining us tonight is the driving force behind a culinary empire known as Gusto 54. She is an Italian-Canadian savvy entrepreneur here to share her story and her experience. Welcome, Janet Zuccarini, to What She Said.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations. You were named this week as one of the finalists in the RBC Women of Influence
Thank you very much.
Okay, and the finalists will be announced. But let's now talk about your portfolio of eateries, including Gusto 101, Trattoria Nervosa, Pie Northern Thai restaurants, as well as Gusto 54, which is the catering division, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so the restaurant...
There's a few more, though, you missed.
I missed. Go ahead. Because is that not enough? My gosh.
I know. One would think, right? But I have more.
Okay.
Kin is a new Thai restaurant that opened up a few months ago, as well as, most exciting for me, is Felix in Los Angeles, which opened up 5 months ago.
Wow. And what kind of food is Felix?
Felix is very chef-driven, farm-to-table Italian.
That's really big these days, farm to table, isn't it? And what exactly does it mean? Is it within a certain radius that you're getting the food in?
I mean, for us, it means it's in a certain radius. We are hyper-local and hyper-seasonal. We go to the farmer's market, or my chef, Evan Funky, goes to the farmer's market every single day, and the menu changes every single day. So everyone has a different interpretation, but ours is very strict with being super local.
Well, okay, but the restaurant and hospitality industry, I guess, are overall arguably one of the toughest industries in the world. And you have built this incredible array of companies and restaurants. Basically, you started by yourself. In 1996 was your first restaurant, Trattoria Nervosa. So how did this all start?
I think it all began with my father, who brought the first espresso machine into Canada. So he really started.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all your fault?
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So my father started coffee culture, and I started working with him at the age of 12, selling espresso machines to restaurants and cafes. So I really saw the business from the supplier side.
Right.
And then I moved to Italy at the age of 18 by myself, and went to university there and lived there for 8 years, and really fell in love with Italian food and going to the farmer's market every day and cooking for myself. But I studied, oddly enough, business in Italy, which not many people do. But I ended up marrying two passions, one of the love of food, especially Italian food, and that of business. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. My father was an entrepreneur, and I have that entrepreneurial spirit. And that was it. It was marrying two passions, which is an amazing. I mean, I wish it upon everyone to find their passion. I happen to have two, and I married both of them.
So, but what was it like for you at that point to be a standalone woman, entrepreneur, building a business on your own without partners?
I started Nervosa with two partners, two guys. Immediately, we bought one partner out. So it was the chef and I for 4 years, and that was a soul-destroying partnership, I like to say. And eventually, I bought him out after 4 years. So I started with partners,
and
but ended
lost
up
them
and picked them off
one by one. But this is a brilliant move, and I want to know this because you were smart enough to purchase a majority of the properties in which your businesses operate. Why was it important for you to own the real estate?
Well, I knew opening Nervosa in 1996, and I got into a 10-year lease. I said to myself, I will lease this building for 10 years, and then I'm purchasing it at whatever price this landlord of mine wants. And I saved my money for 10 years to purchase what is a very strategic corner, I feel, in Toronto, at the corner of Yorkville and Bel Air. And once I purchased that building, I felt security like I had never felt before. Nervosa was successful from day one, but when I purchased that building, I knew that I could never be kicked out. It's a AAA location. I can keep going, keep evolving, keep making sure the restaurant's relevant, and become a staple in that neighborhood, which is exactly what I did. And then I realized from that experience, it's just so much easier and better to own your real estate if possible. So the
Oh,
majority.
you must be loving the market right now, though.
Well, it depends on where I am. It can be crazy, and I haven't been able to purchase all of my buildings, but certainly most of my restaurants reside in buildings which I own.
That's excellent. Now, do you find, is it difficult to achieve longevity, to stay relevant in the face of this ever-evolving market?
I think you have to, depends on the business that you're, creating. And I go into neighborhoods and I try to create these staples and service neighborhoods. So Nervosa was the first good value Italian restaurant in Yorkville. It was all high-end restaurants when I went in 21 years ago. Gusto is a restaurant that is built for a very young demographic. So my goal is, I hope in 21 years, I can be speaking to you again saying Gusto is still there servicing that neighborhood.
Right.
So that is a goal of mine. That's not everyone's goal. Sometimes people want to go in and they have a certain lifespan that they go in with. Restaurants have an average lifespan of 7 years.
If that. You see
Yeah,
a
if
lot
that.
of
That's
open the doors and then
Yeah.
the year they're closed.
I mean, new businesses, especially restaurants, have, a 50% chance of closing within the first year.
Right.
But if you're successful after the first year, a lifespan generally is considered good at 7 years. But that's not what I'm going in for.
So what advice would you have to entrepreneurs? I mean, you've said you wish everyone could follow their passion.
Yeah,
You
I
were lucky enough
definitely,
to.
I think that a lot of people will say that, but I think that your number one job should be either you're doing your passion or you're finding out what your passion is. And it will never feel like work. Back in the days when I was working 16 hours a day, it was definitely hard work, but it never felt like a job because when it's your passion, I was choosing to do that every day. It was exciting for me to do that. I also think that, you have to make sure that you have grit. I think that's the greatest determiner of success, that if you set your mind to something, don't give up. If there's a roadblock, you cannot give up. You have to just find another access route to stay on that road to your goals, if that's your passion.
Okay, so what are some of the new trends you've been noticing? What will we be seeing soon?
In the restaurant business, I think the greatest trend right now is fast casual. So it's taking fast casual and actually elevating it so that the design is nicer, but the price point is more affordable, offers greater value. So there's kind of quick service, but an elevated quick service. For me, I have my eye on that, and that's kind of where I want to go next with my kind of restaurant group.
Okay, because after being open for just 6 months, Felix, which you talked about in LA, was shortlisted in Eateries' 12 best new restaurants in America. So you clearly know what you're doing.
Well, if you want to believe your own press, which they tell you not to, what Felix has had so much incredible press. And as a Canadian woman, essentially without partners, I feel extremely proud about what I achieved in the United States and another country. Like a Canadian woman landing there, just starting from scratch, assembling, an entire team over in another country and giving it my all. And now we're getting press that doesn't even call us out as being a great restaurant in LA, but all of the United States is something that I'm really proud of.
Okay, so Gusto 501, what's happening with that? What's coming out with that?
Gusto 501 is a building that I purchased King and Parliament, so in the East End. And I believe in that area really growing and developing. And we are breaking ground in a couple of weeks and we'll be open in about a year. So it's essentially another Gusto, but for me, I'm not going to replicate what I've done King West. It's going to be like 2.0, level 2.0 of what I've done with Gusto. So design-wise, I want to elevate the design. I want to elevate the food. I want to do better. I always want to do better with every restaurant I open.
So how do people connect with you? Does every restaurant have its own site? Is there an amalgamated site where they can find everything about you?
Gusto54.com is the restaurant group.
Okay.
And there you can find information about all the restaurants and all new projects we have on the go.
That's excellent. Well,
I didn't mention another restaurant.
Oh my
I have
gosh, she's
another one.
forgotten her own restaurants. Go ahead.
This is terrible.
No, it isn't. Go ahead.
I'm opening a Jamaican restaurant
There you go.
in a month. Well, in November.
Okay, in November.
so
And
in a
that's
month.
called?
It's October the 1st, so in a month.
Okay.
Chubby's Jamaican Kitchen,
Excellent.
which is right across the street from my restaurant Gusto 101 on Portland. So it's 104 Portland Street. We'll be open in a month. So a whole new cuisine for me, a whole new challenge. We're really excited about this one.
Well, Janet Zuccarini, thank you very much for joining us this evening. All the best.
Thank you.
We're expecting invitations to new restaurant openings. And from now on, I think you can indeed believe your own press.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back after the break.